All right, everybody, welcome back to Stinker, Drinker, Thinker. We're three guys. We pour some pours, we make some cocktails, and we rank them in an awesome little special ranking system we developed known as the Stinker, Drinker, or Thinker. We're going to tell you exactly which one of all of these are. And tonight we're going to dive into some homegrown whiskey, diving into the MGP distillery down in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. But first, I'm your beautiful, handsome co-host, Anthony Longano, and I'm joined here by my two very best friends in the entire world. Troy the Body Vigliotti. Say hello, please.
How are you?
I like the little, it's very like, what's that movie, Birdcage? You know, what's that guy? He was Batman. He played Batman too. Christian
Bale?
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
Oh.
And then there's Matt McKibble. Matt not wearing a polo tonight that's wrinkled.
This guy.
Say hello.
Hey.
What's on your shirt?
It's a camp shirt.
Did you go camp there?
No.
What? Why?
Already then?
All right, cool. Moving on. Moving on.
If anyone can tell me where the shirt's from, maybe I'll give them a prize. First one to message us, tell me where the shirt's from.
Speaking of prizes, I hope everyone likes the giveaways that we're doing. Especially Matt has put a bunch of effort and whiskey into them. So and if you're not aware of what's going on there, follow us on social media. We are doing the 4 weeks of whiskey this December. Last week we gave away a little 12-day calendar of Matt's whiskey, $750 worth of 1 ounce pours from Matt's collection that he hand-selected himself that Troy approved by taste because Matt doesn't drink whiskey.
Correct.
This week we're giving away 1 million airplane bottles for you to get drunk on a plane when you're flying home from your mother-in-law's after Christmas, including a 4-pack tasting set from Courage and Conviction from Virginia Distilling. We got some Willet stuff in there. It's all on the table over here. We probably will have a video of it or a picture up on the screen. There is what else is in there? Can you see? There's some Teeling.
There's a Willet. There's a Willet. There's a Willet. There's a Teeling. There's a True Blue.
That's Balcones.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We'll probably throw in, I think there's some Clyde Mays laying around. I'll just throw in all the small bottles I can find. There's a lot of it. And then next week we're doing something totally different, so follow along. And then if you enter those giveaways, there's another giveaway. And by the way, all these are pinned on our Instagram account, but at the end of the month we're giving away a bottle of Weller 12. You're very welcome.
Yep.
But hey, haven't asked you guys this in a while. How's everyone doing? How you doing, Troy? How's your week, all right?
Pretty good. It's only I don't know, whatever day.
It's Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to the week, but so far so good.
Nothing going on in your life you want to talk in the open air?
Nah. I don't know. I tasted a Colorado whiskey at work today.
Was it which one was it? Is it 251 or something?
No.
291?
I never heard of it.
Is that an area code song? 251.
No, their area code out there is 313.
It's called Woody Creek.
Oh, I bet it's made in Indiana. Maybe we'll look on the list. Yeah.
It says, well, it says it's made with Rocky Mountain spring water.
Yeah, it's, we're gonna talk about that
Sounds
soon.
like a recipe of MGP. If I ever heard one.
Matt, how was your week?
It was pretty darn good.
Yeah, what'd you eat?
What'd I eat? The entire week? You want to go through my menu?
No. What is the main thing that you ate?
The main thing that I ate.
My balls. You ate my balls.
God. No, I didn't, but I went out to some nice restaurants.
Time out. You didn't eat my balls?
No.
I gave you like 5 pounds of fucking. Did you throw them out, you asshole?
You made me meatballs, and I threw them out. I brought it home, I dumped out the tray, and I gave it back to you.
I found the tray on my desk this morning at work.
So I bought, I didn't buy it, but I got some ciabatta slider rolls. Like ciabattas with their mini ciabattas.
Did you put my balls on them?
Oh, yeah. I grilled them up with some garlic butter, and I put the balls on them, and then I just grated fresh Parmesan on top.
Grated a little fresh Parmesan.
They're pretty good. But that was the second time.
I got some ciabatta bread, and I put Anthony's balls on there and put some fresh Parmesan Italian cheese. Sorry. Matt, what are we doing today?
What are we doing? I don't know. We're going to talk about MGP. Everyone always asks, and by everyone I mean like a lot of people have always asked, like, you guys say, oh, this is MGP. What does that mean? So we're here to tell you what that means, what it is, what they do, who uses them, why they use them. We're going to tell you all the things, so stay tuned for more on MGP.
So, I mean, just to break it down plain and simple, we'll dive into it. There's a long history. It hasn't always been named MGP. It's been owned by Seagram's. It's been owned by a company out of Trinidad, but it's America's highest output distillery. It's right here in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, about 4 hours north or south of us, basically right over the border from Louisville in Kentucky. But the highest output distillery as far as, grain to barrel in America. And a lot of, I think there's a stat that it's 60 to 65% of the stuff that you see in bottles on shelves, especially with the bourbon boom and people trying to make their own bourbon, is made at MGP. And companies, while they're waiting for their distillery to get fund or to fund building their own distillery, to build their own brand, or while they're waiting for their spirits to age in barrels, they'll source, and you hear us use this term often, they'll source whiskey from MGP, meaning they'll go to MGP and they'll either contract distill it, meaning it's like, all right, we like this mash bill that you guys are using. And I think there's 6 or 7 mash bills or something that MGP uses. Mm-hmm. We like this mash bill. We want you to, age at this amount in this part of this rick house or whatever, and then we're going to buy it from you, and we're going to put you on a contract, meaning you're going to do this at this output level for this amount of time, and we'll pay you this amount of money. Or there's the other side of it where it's like, okay, well, and this is kind of like what Bardstown Bourbon Company does, and we've talked about that on here, but it's like they have a single barrel program essentially where, you can go and you can buy a barrel or two that you taste, and you can put, bring it back and you put your product's name on it, and it's a special release. And you can be, when you're contracting or buying barrels, some of these barrels might be finished. You can contract them to finish it. You can age it. Like you can literally, it's like, all right, well, you give us the distillate and we're going to mature it on our property in our state type of thing. But like at the end of the day, it all comes from MGP.
They'll even bottle it and put your I think they even will label it for you.
Yep, there's obviously an additional cost. And I think when we talk to Elsie May on here, there's stuff that they're getting is sourced from multiple different places, but they're pretty open to the fact that a lot of their younger bourbons and their ryes are made at MGP in Indiana. And we were discussing like when Clyde Mays opens up their distillery down there, they're going to have MGP barrel it, but ship the barrels down to Alabama, and they're going to age it in their property in Alabama because of the climate and obviously how it's going to interact. But like he said, it's more expensive for them to bottle it there than for him to bottle it himself in Alabama. So
I'm sure shipping and stuff. It's easier to ship a barrel.
Yep.
But
so I think there was more of a glass shortage at that time too when we were talking to him.
Yeah. So Midwest grain products of Indiana.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
I think it was formerly known as LCI at one point.
Lawrenceburg something. And
Yep. It's been known as a bunch of different things. But
But they're the biggest player in the game. And when you go to the store, like Anthony mentioned, most of what probably a good portion of what you're looking at is actually made by them at some point. Whether a little bit or a lot of it in that bottle is made by them.
For what it's worth, not to be confused, which I just confirmed, with Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
Correct. Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
Yeah, because there are distillers in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky that are pretty damn famous.
And in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
That's true. Really?
Yeah.
But I made a fun sheet that I handed them just because I thought it was hilarious. But I found just a quick Google search of every bottle that I could find that has either MGP in it, was sourced by MGP, or is just MGP product relabeled. And
guys, you'll be pleasantly surprised by some of the stuff, or you'll be like, "What the fuck?" Like Angel's Envy finished rye is 100% MGP.
Yeah, Angel's Envy finishes it.
Yeah, they finish it, but and obviously they make regular Angel's Envy, I think, right down on Whiskey Row there. Mm-hmm. But High West Double Rye MGP. I'm gonna just like Willet Rye, and there's a story there. I think we talked about this on there, but like the 4-year state rye, or even like Willet stopped production for a good 20 years. So like they sourced.
I think they're blending part of it in their product, and like
to some extent now. Their bourbons are still their own, but man, oh man, there's so many on here that you guys probably at least have heard us talk about, or it's readily available stuff. George Remus.
So that's right, and that's their product. So they got so popular.
Old Elk,
that's the Greg actually, was at MGP. He left, so they actually do a proprietary blend and mash bill only for Old Elk, which is kind of cool because Greg obviously used to work there, and I think he's the head or one of the main distillers there. So they kind of like, we'll make what you want. But so they got so popular that they essentially just said, why aren't we making our own, bottling our own, selling our own brands? That's where George Remus comes from, and the Remus Repeal Reserve and all their higher end bottles. There's like, we want part of this too.
I was kind of wondering when they were going to do that. Yep. Like, they never had a brand MGP bourbon. Like, But yeah, it's interesting, and they got a lot of slack. Like newer brands, like you, and there's still like some of those old school clerks. Like you walk into the store and it's like, oh, this bottle looks cool. This is barrel seagrass, and they're like, yeah, it's just $90 MGP, but like it's fucking barrel seagrass and it's delicious. And if you guys watched the Barrel Craft Spirits episode a few weeks ago, she talked about how some of that stuff was sourced, but. Like, I don't know. It gets a bad rap, but there's a reason why everyone's using that place.
Right. That's the thing. Is when I first got into the whiskey hunting game, I was like, oh, it's just MGP. I don't want another just MGP. But then you're actually like, oh, this is actually different than the next bottle because whether they finished it on their own or aged it on their own, it is a different product. I mean, it's not just it's all literally the same thing in a bottle. So
yeah,
whatever that's worth.
I drank a shit ton of whiskey before I knew what MGP was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You may never know.
Me too.
And on the back of the bottle, most distilleries won't say who actually distilled it. It'll say bottled by, or it'll say produced by. A lot of that they avoid saying distilled by because either they don't want to tell you or they can't tell you.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks, but yeah.
But I would say if a bottle says Kentucky straight bourbon or like produced by blah, blah, blah in New York, if you look a little closer on the bottle, 90% of the time it's going to say distilled.
Somewhere else.
Distilled somewhere else, either Indiana, Kentucky, or Tennessee. Most of the time it's going to be Indiana. And specifically if it says Lawrenceburg, that's how you know.
Do you guys know how large MGP is?
It's fucking humongous. I was looking it up a few weeks ago, actually.
They do, I've
like, I'm curious, like acreage.
Acreage? I don't know. They do a bajillion barrels, though, but
Yeah.
I don't know acreage. It's huge.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they source to everywhere in the world, pretty much,
So the point of what we wanted to do today is maybe just we're going to go through 4 bottles here that might be more readily available there, and not readily available, just like different price brackets. You'll see a lot of expensive MGP stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that's not too, and I think people really look past that. So
if you want an example of that, watch our New Year's episode.
Yeah, exactly right.
Expensive MGP.
Yeah, that's obviously coming out in a few weeks, but which bottle do you guys want to get into?
Let's go by proof.
Let's go to what's this fucking Rough Rider shit, man?
Rough Rider.
Matt brought a half-drank bottle of something called Rough Rider Straight Bourbon Whiskey, double casked.
Yeah.
To my house.
Yep.
Distilled in the Midwest from corn, rye, and malted barley.
Yep.
Imparts caramel aromas and a touch of sweetness. Adds smoothness. I don't know. I mean,
someone recommended this.
New York.
Someone recommended this bottle to me. Or actually, sorry, not this particular one, but they recommended a particular Rough Rider. I couldn't find it, so said, hey, you speak highly of it, let's get it. And I was like, oh, it's MGP. All right, sure.
Long Island Spirit Co.
Yep.
Troy.
Yes, sir.
Let's give it a little poop.
Already.
So, Matt, is this readily available?
Yes.
How much?
I've seen it between $40-ish, maybe up to $50, depending on, there's different finishes and different things, but yeah, in that price range.
It is on the small side for, or the cheaper side for MGP.
Yeah. Well, their prices kept on going up, and I mean, they even stopped taking orders. So they got to the point where they're so big, they stopped taking new clients. Essentially, oh, you're gonna knock that glass over. Oh my god. So they stopped taking new clients and said, well, if you haven't ordered MGP, if you haven't ordered barrels from us before, we won't give you barrels, or you can get maybe a barrel or two. But yeah, it was really
that is interesting.
Yeah. They stopped because they're just, I mean, the huge whiskey boom, they just couldn't keep up. Because everyone wanted, especially with like the ultra age stuff, like you could walk into a store and get,
It smells like tuna fish.
you could get like a,
Matt, that smells like tuna fish.
You get a 14 or 15-year-old MGP product, readily available now. It's super hard to get. So
now I know why they call it Rough Rider.
It's a Rough Rider.
It just smells like fish. Oh my god, that was a boat analogy, not a. Sick fucks.
What?
Tuna fish, Rough
Rider.
Yeah.
Was not going for that.
I don't know if I can even drink this.
Oh,
does that not smell like tuna fish to you?
No,
oh, you're serious.
I'm dead serious. I smell tuna fish.
No.
I eat a lot of tuna fish, my friend, and you do not. So let's just say it doesn't.
It smells like bluefish. I grew up gutting fish on a beach. Like, there's fish in there.
There's fish in here? You think there's fish in the whiskey?
There's something fishy going on.
They call it fish ski.
Fish ski?
I don't know. Like, no one's getting that.
No. I mean, it smells weird.
I've lost it, guys. I've lost it. I can't.
The COVID is back.
The COVID is back. I officially can't be a part of this podcast.
It's a super, Yeah, that's the most crazy tasting note I've ever heard of.
It's not a tasting note. I didn't even taste it
know,
yet.
smelling note.
It doesn't smell like fishy
No.
to you at all?
It does have a weird like graininess to it. It's what was it finished? Is it just double cask? Does it say what it's finished in? Doesn't smell appealing, but
Tastes way better than it smells. I'll give it what it says on the.
Tastes like a rye. Tastes like a high rye.
It does taste. It definitely tastes high rye, and that's probably what I'm smelling. Just like tainted rye. But honestly, super sweet. It's light. Caramel. There's a little lingering finish that kind of turns into ethanol, but like, yeah, whatever.
I'm just curious I'm actually kind of curious what they say if they have a mash bill. Of course, dude, Total Wine app is literally the worst thing in the world.
Why are you on the Total Wine app?
It's just the first thing that came up. 60% corn, 33% rye. So we were right. 7% malt. Extra maturation in local brandy cask. So French oak aged Merlot and Chardonnay.
Interesting.
What do you think about that? Also, $35.99. I was wrong.
I definitely taste more in line of.
So wine finished MGP, probably pretty young, for $35.
I can like barely read the label.
All you need to know is Rough Rider. That's the only thing you need to know.
Stop! Drop! Pour it down the motherfucking drain. This is bad.
It's not that bad.
It's not great. It doesn't say anything about finishing on here, Matt.
It's just double cask.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there we go. All right.
I'm fired, man. I've been drinking again.
Yeah, I think it's a taste. I will have to say, I wonder if there's an actual age on it because it tastes youthful.
It definitely does. I would say
Like a little
4
bit,
years or younger.
I was going to say 2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit.
They have it listed as bourbon. Doesn't have to be.
Touch a barrel, baby.
Yeah.
Unless it says straight. Yeah.
You did have the mash bill? Don't we have?
Yeah, I just said it. 60, 33, 7.
Okay, you have something different here. I thought maybe you had like. Yeah, I would say it's not aged long. There's not a ton of oak in it at all. It is sweet. It's got some caramel and brown sugar type of thing going on, but other than that, there's not really much going on. Definitely some high rye. The nose is really off-putting to me. I know it didn't bother you guys as much, but a little off-putting to me. It's good. It goes in, it goes down. I don't gag. I probably use this strictly for cocktails. I don't think I would ever pour a neat sip of this again. Or like when me and Troy were watching the Giants lose to the Eagles, we would just put these in shot glasses, which offend Troy. When brown substances are in shot glasses, it offends Troy.
That's not true.
To some extent. Like if I poured a fucking anything else in this room besides this in a shot glass, it would offend you.
You would never do that.
True, but there was a time where I would.
Yeah.
And, anyway, it's a shooter. I'm just going to call it a stinker drinker.
Okay. Troy, what do you think about this rough ride we're on?
It is rough.
Rough Rider.
I might have to agree with Anthony. I'd put it away, and that has a double meaning.
If people came, I'd put it away.
Yeah. No, I'd do damage if need be. I would take one for the team, just out of selflessness.
Because you were the most selfless person.
I really am.
When it comes to whiskey.
Yeah, really am. But stinker drinker, yeah. I do get a bit of that brandied quality. It's like it just seems like it's got some intentional oxidative qualities that I'm not crazy about. Like bruised fruits that are like not the kind of fruits you want in a whiskey. And there's the sweetness, but it just seems more artificial than anything to me. I do think the proof is where I like it. It's 90 proof, so it's nice there. I don't think it's offensive necessarily, but I don't really enjoy it.
So you're saying it was a rough ride?
I mean, it was a bumpy ride.
Just going to call it a stinker?
At the very least. Stinker drinker.
Stinker drinker, too. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that means it goes in, but
Yeah.
So now you can be brutally honest if you want.
No, it is just fine. Like taking out price, I don't think I would buy another bottle ever. That is one of the lower bottles, which is insane to me. I think because I gave a few samples away, but I'm actually going to go. I'm actually going to go drinker stinker because I think it's more drinkable than it is offensive to me.
I don't hate that.
It's fine, but it doesn't it's not tuna-y to me. So
Yeah, it smells like tuna fish. I'm sorry. I don't know why.
Yellowfin in olive oil.
ooh, man,
Is that your?
No, I just bought a can of that today. It's fresh on the mind.
This might ruin the entire infinite drinker. You just love that. You just love it so much you want to put all of it in there.
You got to do a fucking pour. It's a pour. It's a pour. You're not like splashing it in there. It's not like a spritz. It's spritzed into the decan. That's why Troy's not allowed to do this anymore.
Oh, okay.
Seemed very angry about it.
Angry.
Angry.
Who's fucking angry? Not me. Frank. Let's go.
So let's. You want to do the Boone County next?
Yeah, I think we should do the Ryes last.
Okay. We'll do the rye, then we'll do a finished rye.
Ooh.
All right. Boone County.
Are you trying to encourage my behavior?
Maybe a little bit.
I told Matt I was going to do this whole episode in my Kentucky accent, and he told me I wasn't allowed to.
Where's Boone County?
Boone County. It's in Boone County. If you pull up the bottle, if you grab the bottle, Anthony.
You're closer.
Oh my God. This is Boone County small batch. I don't know why they call it small batch bourbon single barrel. I mean, it's like they could just remove the small batch part. I think it's just small batch, but this is a particularly good barrel that they found. But essentially, it's just 6 year aged MGP.
There's a tag on there that says "Made by Ghosts."
Yep, just made by Ghost, selected and bottled for distillery collection. So they just find certain bottles that they really like, and they kind of keep them for single barrels. But this is 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley, and aged in new charred American oak barrels, number 4 char. In Boone County, Kentucky.
Thank you. That was what I was wondering.
Here's the interesting thing, guys.
Just wanted to state. I'm sorry.
Boone County is not available in Indiana, but it's made in Indiana. And there's a lot of whiskey like that you'll see just because of Indiana's ridiculous liquor laws and distributors and things like that are made at MGP and sourced elsewhere that you can't buy here. That's not me being aggressive or angry.
I assumed it was because it's made by ghosts, and Indiana doesn't like ghosts.
Oh, they don't believe in ghosts here. Ooh.
It sounds like a hunting ghost.
Oh, Troy. Oh.
What?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was trying to be nice. Thank you, Troy. Second. You can already tell the color on this one looks better.
Yeah, and so Boone County is, I think they're doing some of their own stuff. Most of it is MGP still, I think, but they're kind of like, they have some of their own products now. I think it's just still kind of young. So they're, like most people do, they source till they have their own stuff that's aged.
It's got some legs on it.
Yeah. This is it's a weeder.
Proof?
What'd I say?
55.
110?
Yeah, it's 110.
Yeah. Okay. This is considered one of the better MGPs for a weeded.
It definitely
They'll
smells
do a lot of weedy
weed
stuff.
forward.
Yeah. Whew.
It smells nice.
What is bubble like that, like bubble yum, like it's that like, or caramel, like caramel bubble gum.
I mean, I get like what you're saying with bubble gum, but it's definitely more of like a
Bubble tea?
yeah.
I was joking.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more of like a baked good. But
Cinnamon-
I get
cinnamon pound
I get
cake?
the undertone of bubble gum.
It's that sweetness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I literally just went to the distillery. They just put out 8 and 9, sometimes older year single barrels, and if you get them, you get them. But very cool place.
When'd you go there?
On my way to Kentucky one time, we just stopped. Like one on the way to Louisville sometime. It's kind of out of the way, so
That's
wouldn't
nice.
recommend. But
You said would not recommend?
just kind of out of the way. It's like kind of like to drive like an hour and a half detour.
Is that a 10 out of 10? Would not recommend?
That tastes like There's obviously a lot of bourbon characteristics there, but I'm getting like a children's toothpaste, like
Bubble
a
gum.
fruity
Bubble gum toothpaste.
fluoride toothpaste thing.
This tastes. I don't. It tastes different than when I first opened it, for sure, which is interesting.
It's
But I've
definitely,
also had
it's
it for a
definitely
while.
the sweetness from the wheat that's popping
Yeah.
out of there. Probably jumping from that rye that we had, but
The sweetness.
a sweetness.
the wheatness.
Y'all like bubble gum whiskey?
That's probably a real thing. I don't like that.
I mean, if it's not, it's gonna be. They got peanut butter whiskey. They got cotton candy whiskey. They have Arby's whiskey.
Yeah, dude, that
They do.
was a
I
surprise.
Yeah,
tried. They
like-
sold out too fast. I couldn't get
I
one.
know. I tried to get one
Really?
too. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. I think Nick Mignani said he got one. Nick, was that you who told me you got an Arby's whiskey? Cool. Thanks.
It's
yeah.
like,
We'll wait.
Nick,
We'll
are
wait
you there?
We'll wait a week and a half
He's
to find
always
answer.
here. Nick actually gifted me a really cool bottle of I forgot what it's called. Nick, don't be mad at me. Is that like a Chinese like liqueur, like kind of like a shot liquor? It's
Sochu?
upstairs. What? Say it again.
Sochu?
I don't think it was Sochu. Nick, was it?
I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
just saying words.
Jeez, Nick.
I'm just
Always ignoring us.
trying to
Come on,
interact
we're
with our
talking to you.
listeners. Trying to interact with our listeners. But
No.
I don't know. It's upstairs. It's in like a beautiful wrapping. It's really nice. Maybe we'll. He said to take shots of it. So
Oh, perfect.
Beautiful.
maybe when the Giants lose to the Eagles this Sunday, 45-7, we'll take shots at Chinese whiskey, liquor, whatever it is. Anyway, sorry. Salute, Nick. Back to this.
I'm gonna say it's definitely drinkable, but it doesn't have much going on.
Yeah.
It's like drinkable. It's sweet. It's got a little bit of spice to it, like a very light brown sugar and like kind of like bubblegummy, honestly. But then it just like kind of lingers a little bit and then it's gone. I mean, if we're jumping, I'm just gonna jump to it. It's
Yeah.
a drinker.
Yeah. I would say so. I mean, I think the nose is very pleasant for a weeder. I think it's. I don't know why. Me personally, I think I get turned off by like weeded bourbons more so than other people. Maybe. I don't really have like a weeded bourbon here that I genuinely enjoy. That at least that I can think of. But I don't know. The nose is great. When I get it in there, it's kind of just weird, right? It's not. It doesn't have your classic like oak forward type of age to it. I will tell you, it the finish is a little unsettling, and that's kind of where I get that bubblegum thing going on. But it's kind of like bitter, and I'm just thinking that maybe that's barrel char lying to us.
Maybe.
Yeah, and you know that's kind of if you like deep think about what could this bubblegum be? It's barrel char. It's like bitter barrel char. But overall, I mean, not unimpressive. How much was this?
Probably 65, 70, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, as a collector at the distillery, getting a single barrel, I'd probably buy that. But like,
And they do taste. I didn't. Unfortunately, wasn't there enough time to taste because they were about to close. But they do tastings of all the stuff too, which is super nice if you don't try anything. So
yeah, I mean, I guess I would just call it a drinker. It's not off-putting. I don't know if I would actively hunt it. I would definitely be interested in trying the rest of their line, but I dig the whole labeling and bottling and
I think it's cool.
everything about it is really cool.
Yep.
So good marketing, obviously.
Troy.
I finished it.
Oh, okay.
I think it's very characteristic of Kentucky bourbon. Oak spice, little cinnamon. It's sweet, caramel. It's corny. Weeded, whatever. Weeded, not weeded. I think it's just a pretty good bourbon. Pretty good, transparent sort of a whiskey. I'd call it a drinker. I actually like it.
Yeah.
Do you like this more than like Maker's Mark?
Do I like it more than Maker's Mark?
That's a great question.
That's the weeder, right?
Arguably, yeah. I mean, Maker. I mean, I like the sort of the concentration of this whiskey because of the higher proof.
That's another thing I was going to say. It doesn't drink like 110.
No, not really.
Yeah.
It doesn't really. It's really not aggressive. I mean, do I like it better than every Maker's Mark? Maybe not, but do I like it better than
Average.
the entry level makers? Potentially,
I mean,
yeah.
twice. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Because when I think of weeders, it's like, all right, I can go to any store, any bar in the world and get a Maker's Mark. Is this better, or can I justify spending more than Maker's Mark on this?
That's what you think about?
That's what I think about.
That's
I think I
interesting.
have more reference for Maker's Mark, probably Maker's Mark and Jack Daniels than
Really?
almost any other whiskey, right? I mean, like, just when I think of, that's what I grew up. I mean, I drank a lot of Jack and Coke. That was like my first entryway.
I've never really drunk a lot of Maker's Mark.
Either way.
Yeah.
That's why I felt like I was being fancy, or that's the only one I knew. Like, it's just recognition,
Yeah.
right? It's like when you're at a bar and you're like 21, 22, you're like, I don't know what to get. Like, Maker's Mark, that's fancy, right? People drink that. It's like,
Yeah. It's kind of strange, actually. It's kind of peculiar that I never really got on the bandwagon for Maker's Mark because I was drinking bourbon. But I sort of glossed over Makers for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about Makers when we did something on here. Just like that's always something that's either been like, whoa, I bought a bottle of Makers for the party, and like we end up slugging it, or you go to a wedding and all they have is Makers and Coke.
Yeah, or it's a good gift. People like it's
gift. I mean, I've definitely had bottles left here gifted, but we end up slugging them before I appreciated whiskey. But it's not something I've ever went out and bought besides like a couple private barrel or limited release stuff.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You want to do a little cracker break presented by Yeasty Boy Bread Company?
I do want to do a cracker break brought to you by Yeasty Boy Bread Company.
Cracker break.
Brought to you by Yeasty Boy Bread
Cracker break.
Welcome back from Cracker Break. This Cracker Break is brought to you by Yeasty Boy Bread Company. You got a yeast infection, you got a boy, you got a cracker. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Courtney. Yeasty Boy Bread Company at your local farmer market here in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Parkview Field.
This Cracker Break is brought to you by a joke.
It is, actually. The only two white actors in Black Panther are Martin Freeman, who played Bilbo Baggins, and Andy Serkis, who played Gollum. They're the Tolkien white guys.
I don't get
Tolkien.
J.R. Tolkien.
J.R. Tolkien. They're the Tolkien white guys.
That's really...
That a stretch?
I mean, for me.
All right, well... that was the joke. So
already, ha.
Moving on. Then all right, tough crowd today. Tough crowd. All right. Hey, yo,
That just wasn't funny right there. So, all right, a big thing about MGP. a big thing about MGP is that a lot of people's ryes are from MGP. I'm not going to do this. Sorry, I was going to try.
Can't do it.
Especially younger companies as they're getting their Dackel wet, they're when they're sourcing
Dackel
Rye is it's MGP, Bullet Bourbon, all the rye is MGP,
which is insane to me.
Yeah, it is insane.
Why?
Because I mean,
I don't know. You just think
because
like,
they're a high output distillery and rye is easier and doesn't need to age as long. So you would think that they would just do it there, but instead they source it to have a rye, and that's what a lot of places do. They'll source their rye to have a rye. But yeah, there's a company out of New York that is a pretty readily available bourbon and rye. They have a couple different ryes called Widow Jane, and they source all of their products, bourbon and rye, from MGP, and then they use the spring water of upstate New York to proof it down, essentially, as it will say on the bottle. But we thought it was important to do some ryes on here too, just because most of the rye out there these days is MGP, unless it's from like a legacy distillery.
and it's all the same mash bill. So like a lot of their bourbons are different. They have wheaters, they have whatever mash bills of bourbon, but their number one MGP rye is 95.5. So 95 rye, 5 malted barley, which is interesting. Yeah, like I think I gave you guys a list of every single one that's the exact same mash bill.
Yeah,
which is it's all Bullet Rye.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, but here's how they make that stuff different. So Widow Jane, again, takes that rye, same thing as Bullet Rye in this bottle. They take the barrel-proof whiskey that they get there, and they put it down in small batches using pure limestone mineral water from the Widow Jane Mine in Rosendale, New York. So it's mine mineral water, essentially, but like that's the difference when they're proofing the stuff down and batching it down. They're using that water compared to whatever the fuck Bullet does. I'm sure Bullet contracts that whole process from MGP, I would imagine, but This stuff's pretty good. This stuff's really good in cocktails. I think we've used it in a cocktail on here before. We've discussed using it in here in a cocktail. Yeah. Widow Jane 10-year bourbon is awesome. Just a good, easy drinker. There's nothing really special about it, but it's a good drinker. Me and Troy have slugged a few of those. The first expensive bottle I bought was a single barrel from them called Widow Jane the Vault. So it was like a $250 bottle.
Yeah.
And
I thought the 15 was you bought that. You buy that before that?
That is it. That's the
that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's called the Vault. Yeah,
I know that.
It's a 15-year.
Can I read these? I don't know if is that boring.
The whole
for
list?
everybody?
No, read them.
I'm just curious.
This is all the ryes.
So this is MGP ryes of all the same mash bill. So 95 rye, 5% malted barley, and they're different proofs. And they'll list if they're barrel proof or they're single barrel or the finish, whatever. But they're all the exact same start, and they actually list the age, and they range anywhere from 2 to 13 years. But I don't know what minor case is. I actually don't know what that is. But Rebel Yell, small batch rye, Bone Snapper rye, James E. Pepper, Barrel Batch number 3, Smooth Ambler, Willet, Sagamore Spirit Rye, Pinhook, George Dickel, Obtanium, Bullet, The Senator, Angel's Envy Rye, Foregate, Barrel Rye, Hughes Bells and Bedford Pure Rye. Don't know what that is. Presidential Dram, Hughes Bell of Bedford again, Redemption 10, Smooth Ambler again, Bullet Rye, Whistle Pig 12, which I had no idea, and then Whistle Pig Boss Hog, which is even more insane.
Yeah,
because that's like
charge
$500
a bottle
for it. It is 13 years to be fair, but holy
It's
$600
MGP
now.
Templeton Rye. So anyway, I thought that was insane. I saw the list is like insane because someone at work was like, "Oh, I'm excited to get this new whiskey, this new rye." I was like, "Oh, I'm curious. I want to look it up." And I was like, "Oh, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, 95.5." It's like, holy, like.
Don't say.
It's crazy. It's like, he's like, because he really likes Bullet Rye. He's like, well, you're going to like that because it's essentially just a slightly different version of that. So, boom.
I feel like you're always expecting the worst when you pop a bottle.
It smells very light, like refreshing.
I've always found this one to be light.
Like a not a kiwi, but kind of like that.
A big tasting note from MGP
Pear.
Rye is spearmint.
Yeah. I think I'm just expecting that, so I'm kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of like white fleshy fruits. Interesting, like a white peach. Huh.
I get like hibiscus almost.
Flowery stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Smells better than maybe it's a New York water. It's good with bagels.
Go with pizza.
Good with rye. There's the mint. Oh wow,
Nice and thin. It's light. It's refreshing.
Thin mint.
yeah.
No, nobody, nothing.
I liked it. I just too busy gagging over here to hear your joke.
Tastes like an MGP Rye. I get a lot of Willet personality in it, which is not surprising.
Not as herbal though.
Yeah, it doesn't really have that funk, but
It's just clean and refreshing, and like if you like,
it's like good tasting mouthwash that you can swallow.
I was just say, or if you go to a spa and you get a mint mist or like.
Troy, have
whatever,
you ever
it's
been
like,
to a spa?
Yes, I have.
Oh wow.
Once.
I
Well, no, that's. Yeah, mainly one. I'd count one.
I was in a spa one time in Costa Rica, but like that doesn't count. I was on my honeymoon. It was small.
Did
I went here.
You go to Woodhouse?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You ever had like a refreshing, like a warm towel, like a minty warm towel, like on an airplane or anything like that? No.
Minty.
Never
Oshi
flown
buddy.
first class.
So, they do it sometimes, just international, non-first class, still do it.
Every time I fly international, I have about 8 Chardonnays before we take off.
Okay.
I try to
Yeah,
sleep.
just 2 bottles.
Classic.
Not even joking. Like when me and Mal went to Ireland, and we were dumbasses. We flew from Indiana to San Francisco. Spent some time there with Ezra and saw Metallica. And we flew from San Francisco to fucking London.
Oh boy.
Which is all the way back
That's
across
the
the country
wrong
and then
way.
across the ocean. So like, we're sitting there on the runway at LAX, and like, I was like, man, I need to get drunk. We're just sitting there. And the plane's not going anywhere. We're sitting there for an hour and a half. So finally, they started asking for refreshments.
Chardonnay, please.
Seriously. So like, she gave me one, and Mal wasn't gonna drink. So she gave me one and Mal one. And I just slugged them both, and she came back up with the cart, and I said, 2 more, please. And then like so at that point I had 4, and then 20 minutes later she did another refreshment run with snacks. But I was like, Chardonnays, please, 2 more. And then literally had 8 Chardonnays before we took off, and then I slept the whole time to London, and I woke up and I felt like $1 million. It was great, dude. Anyway,
Dang.
so I don't use warm towels, I use liquor.
All right. Back to this liquor. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I'll go first. I mean, I think this is. I honestly, I think the first word that comes to mind is beautiful.
Wow.
I think it's really balanced. I think the nose is really floral, and it does have that spearmint kind of thing going on. I think the rye notes are there, but like I just think it's. I think it's just a beautiful overall smell. It kind of does smell like a little bit like a botanical garden or some like soap, like some fresh like spring style soap or like a spring wax warmer.
Irish Springs.
Yeah, like a wax
Irish
warmer.
mist?
Yeah.
And then it's delicious. I think it's light, crisp, refreshing. It's low proof. I mean, it's 45% alcohol or whatever, but like it's I don't know. I think it would do really well, especially in some spring rye time cocktails.
Is it a Mai Tai riff, a Rye Tai?
Rye. I said rye time.
I know.
So we did put it in that tiki cocktail. Remember?
We did.
Well,
we made.
I can't remember what that was.
That wasn't the
Was it one of your brothers?
Yeah, it was the
What's it called?
Lake Kamani? Or
The Holly Kalani?
No.
We made that legit. That one.
Was the one we came up with that?
It was the guava something or other, or passion fruit.
Yeah, we made the passion.
Yeah, that was
one.
that. That was part of that. We like that was our riff.
Oh,
on
he
the
made.
thing.
Oh, well, okay. We tried the Holly Kalani original, and then your brother
right.
submitted
That was
one.
that episode.
And then, yeah. Okay.
That was our riff on that.
Yeah, I think Matt is right.
Wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Well, viewers out there,
You're
can go
wrong,
back
but it's okay.
to the episode.
It's okay.
Cocktail
Yeah,
Doctors
yeah.
episode. We did a
Yeah.
wine cocktail.
I think it's fucking delicious. I don't know. I think it's just a good drinker. Probably my favorite one we've had tonight. I think. And honestly, I'll say this too. I've been kind of like on a rye ban. Like I really have not been vibing with rye lately.
It's the Saturn.
It was the Saturn.
Which was
Gin. It's a gin-based cocktail, but we wanted to do it with rye whiskey
Right.
instead.
That was another submission by your brother.
Pretty sure.
Your other brother.
maybe
Think.
that was with the Star Wars thing, right?
The tiki thing was from your other brother. That was from Jameson.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway,
I've slept since.
who gives a fuck? It's delicious. It's a drinker.
All
Troy
right.
the Mr. Body, what do you got?
Troy the Mr. Body. I like this a lot more than I thought that I did.
I think I liked it more than we originally liked it.
I
too.
think it's because the first time I ever had it, I was actually was when I was working in Philly and living right outside of there, probably like 2015. But I had the 10-year bourbon first, and then I tried the rye because it was like half the price, and I was like, I'm into rye right now, but it just seemed like way less complex. But I didn't really know my ass from a hole in the ground at the time, so I probably was just like, well, it was just like too pretty, but I didn't really see the context for it, and now I definitely do. And now I'm also realizing, I think I've been a sucker for MGP Rye since the first time.
Popular for a reason.
I probably the first sip of Bullet Rye that I had back in 2012, which I used to buy on the regular back then.
What time was that?
What time was what?
What time did you drink the Bullet Rye? I mean, you knew what year it was. What time was it?
It was 4:38 a.m.
AM.
AM.
It's early.
I started
Yeah,
drinking.
I just remember exactly working at this liquor store in Boston, and I remember being at the cash register. The bottle was like literally directly behind me.
And you just like take swigs of it?
No, yeah,
Just rip it behind, pour behind your
You had
head.
a pour
Yeah.
spout on it, just like, after a customer left?
yeah. I don't know why I remember that so
Yeah.
vividly, but anyway. And then I remember my first sip of Tickle Rye.
Sip a dick.
Everyone remembers
Sip
the
of
first Dickel.
Exactly. And I've just, I don't know. I hate to say it, but I'm a fan.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, bud.
Well,
So yeah, drinker. I didn't say that.
Yep.
oh yeah, I like the nose quite a bit. I don't like the palate because it is pretty minty to me, but I can appreciate it, and it is definitely pretty, and I think it's very approachable, and I don't dislike it. I don't dislike it enough to call it a stinker, even though it is not my taste profile. So by default, I am also going drinker.
I honestly think
like
that's
it.
one of the best
Proud of you.
MGP ryes I've ever had. That bottle's been open for so long, too. Zach Neiman gave that to me over a year and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah. Like, Yeah. Anyway, in the Infinite Drinker.
Come on
She
in.
goes.
Join the party.
It's nice in there.
Huh. So funny. We have not had a single MGP stinker tonight. I will tell you, I had a...
It's a stinky pour, but
Yeah, your mom's a stinky pour.
oh my god.
Sorry, Miss McKibble, Mrs. The next one up is a pretty rare bottle. You don't really see too many of them.
At least in these parts.
I found this at a Benny's. This is Templeton Rye. Small town, strong spirit. It's a Templeton Rye. It's a cask finish, so Oloroso cherry cask finish. 46% alcohol.
Is that unopened?
Unopened. Never tried this one before. I do have a Templeton 10. That was a limited edition.
It's called a Templeton. Thank you.
A Templeton, and I just fucking hated it. We bought that on the first time up to Northern Bay. Me and Matt.
Did not like.
When we bought Benny's out of
Really?
alcohol.
Yeah.
And we were not a fan. And I haven't
DNL.
opened it since.
That's when we opened the Metallica and we're like, oh my god.
Yeah, the blackened willet was fucking delicious, dude. But yeah, this one's unopened. So I don't know necessarily how they do it, but you can't really read the labels on here. So it's bottled by Templeton Rye Spirits, which is in Templeton, Iowa. Distilled in Indiana with imported grains, imported packaging. They don't really say where the finishing process happens.
I'm assuming they finish it.
At
I'm assuming.
MGP, or they do it on property?
I would imagine Templeton does. I don't know though.
Well, it says produced and bottled by Templeton, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they're doing the finishing. They're in the Oloroso casks in
Probably.
Iowa.
I did not know they were in Iowa.
Either did I, and I mean, if you guys have been following along for a while, there's an awesome distillery that does not source, named Cedar Ridge from Iowa, that hopefully we will be going to visit.
Well, I mean, they might source, but
What?
they might source. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
all the stuff that we tried is not sourced, and if we learned anything about the climate there, it definitely affects barrels pretty uniquely, because all that stuff is fucking fantastic. Cedar Ridge, Iowa, buy their whiskey, and that's not a shameless plug.
But we don't get paid for any of this.
We don't. We got a couple bottles out of it, but like we wouldn't still be talking about it 4 months later if it wasn't delicious. Oh, I almost opened this. Limited release. There's no age statement on here. It is dark, but like it's probably from the sherry.
Probably. It's reddish.
Yeah, it's got nothing. It's got nothing on here, but you know, it's probably 2 years, and then they like dyed it. Here.
Ooh.
It was a nice pull.
It's about $50. It looks like $52.99. This says a 6-year rye. Annual cask finish. Traditional Templeton 6-year with a 9 additional months in Oloroso sherry. So there you go.
It looks a lot darker in the bottle. Oh, I got some floaters in here. Yeah, not as much legs on it as the Booner.
You can either buy it for $52.99 or from Drizzly for $139.99.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have opened this one.
Those are your options.
Well,
Well, you gotta drink it.
I would rather just pay double.
Off topic.
Convenience.
Off topic, but that Town Branch Maple Stout barrel,
Yeah.
that's going in the bracket this year.
Okay.
And I think it can contend.
Okay.
Anyway.
It smells like medicine-y.
It's weird. It's got that same kind of smell that
It smells closed off.
it's the rye. It's the rye. Like I can smell it. I can almost smell that same fishiness, like copper metallic thing that I got in the Rough Rider.
Yeah, that's interesting because that's finished too. I wonder if it has like just a weird combination. But
We don't do a lot of finished ryes on here though.
Yeah.
So like maybe that's just not something we're used to.
it is medicinal and minty at the same time. It is like it's like if Robitussin made a mint flavor.
I'm not getting any mint.
Really?
Not on the no. I mean, maybe
It's like cool. That's a cooling, like mentholy, like
I do get. I don't get any of the Oloroso. Maybe like a little bit. Maybe like some funky grape.
funky. That's a funky grape. Try to get some funky grapes.
It's like you harvested the grapes and then didn't make wine from them for like a year.
You let them sit
sit out in room temp.
Do you like the nose, Troy?
Oh,
not particularly, believe it or not. Especially for my expectations.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, my expectations were a little bit higher on this one.
that's the kind of the same thing when we opened the Templeton 10 Limited. We had high expectations of it.
Ooh.
I was a naive little boy when I was drinking Templeton and thinking it was really good. I know that now.
You should try it.
And I'm talking Templeton 4-year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Templeton 6 and I liked the Templeton Barrel Strength too. But anyway.
I always have to remind myself when we do sherry finish stuff that Oloroso is not PX. Like, I always have to remind myself that.
Oloroso is dry sherry, my friend.
Yeah,
For what that's worth.
But I mean, there's different, obviously.
I mean,
profiles
you don't have
there.
like the lushness.
Yeah,
It has
exactly.
more like dry.
It's more dry, and it's
Yeah.
not like that lush, fruity,
Right.
like sweetness type of thing. It's not as juicy.
The type of sherry
Right.
does matter.
Yeah, and like, so I don't know. I always like, it's like, oh yeah, sherry finish stuff, and like when it's Oloroso, I get it in. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this is more like, I don't know. It takes a second.
Sherry is far from created equal.
Yeah.
All of it.
The nose is probably my least favorite part of this. I do initially like the mid palate, but I think the finish is absolutely fucking horrendous.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. Have you tried it yet, Troy?
I have. I actually tried it really quickly
Okay.
because I was like, I
It
need
is-
to know.
It's like the parts of, I don't know, maybe this is too harsh. It says the parts of both that I don't like put together, kind of. It's not that bad, but like, I just don't enjoy it.
I don't either.
I mean, I don't find really anything about it that I like.
Me neither.
Is it an initial?
Initially,
Red?
I was like, oh, this is interesting. I really like this. But then like, I was like, oh wait, no, I don't like it. It's confusing.
There's a cranberry note that I kind of like.
It's a 50-yard fake out.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
Cranberry is a good cranberry.
Hey! Oh!
Cranberry is a good tasting note,
Thanks.
Matthew.
Thanks, I
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Can we just like not even waste time on this? This is a stinker, right? Like, this stinks.
I mean, we can waste time.
We could
Sure,
waste
let's
time.
waste
We're
some
good
time.
at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna go back and try it again, but I don't think I enjoy the nose, and I don't think I enjoy the palate. So I think by that method, I would agree. It is.
There is something. I don't know if metallic is the word, but it's I don't know, man. It's not fruit. It's not sweetness from oak spice or baking spice or it's just not like, it doesn't have a great mouthfeel.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
It's like artificial medicinal grape.
but also cherry.
I don't know. Listen, man. I've tasted cherry in just about every way you can taste cherry.
If you would have put this table in front of me and said Rough Rider's not going to be the worst one, I would have bet you were wrong.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying.
No, Rough Rider is definitely not. I don't even have to,
I brought that.
I don't even have to try it again.
I almost brought that as a joke. It's not that bad, but
This is fucking bummer.
but like I definitely would have thought Rough Rider was going to be the worst one. I would have put money on it.
Guys, if you like shitty whiskey, DM me on Instagram. I'll send you a sample of that. It's got to go. All right, so Rough Rider.
How much is this bottle? You remember?
$52.99.
I feel like I paid more than that.
I mean, you could have, yeah.
They smell almost identical. This one's skunky, though. This is the Rough Rider.
But one's a rye and one's not rye, which is interesting too.
This is so
they're
rye heavy.
finished. Right, it's 33% rye,
This one's there's definitely more rye.
but they're both finished in wine-esque casks.
That's really not bad.
The Rough Rider? Rough Rider!
Wow. Actually, I have some in my glass.
Salute to you, DMX. Salute.
Aw,
Got my wife really drunk one time.
so sad.
She can't sing or rap, but if you get her really drunk, she like raps DMX.
Mm.
And one night I brought her down into the studio and I set a mic up and I recorded her.
Oh,
and she
nice.
didn't know it, and I have it saved. And if
That's
she ever
amazing.
divorces me, I'm gonna put it all over the internet
Or you could just make it a cool holiday gift sometime for her.
for her.
Yeah.
No, she will.
Thought
Oh.
for all of our friends.
Put
she'll
on like a
fucking
put on
kill
like
me.
a yak back and just like
All right, here's the temple. The Templeton. Yeah, that Rough Rider's better than this.
Rough Rider.
Yeah, like way better.
Yeah. that's
Here, you know
interesting.
what? I'm a master blender. Let's see.
Okay. Pour one shitty whiskey into a mediocre whiskey. That'd be great. Um,
It just goes to show you can overpay for shit, guys.
Yep. Limited doesn't mean good. There
No,
you go.
it just means it's limited for a reason sometimes.
What do we do with this? Let's sell it as a limited product. It'll fly off the shelf. Not so bad?
No, there it is.
Here it is.
Something going on there, man.
So, I think we've learned today is you can take the same or very similar whiskey and turn it either good or bad depending what you do with
Yep.
it.
I mean, yeah, literally that is the same exact mash bill as that Widow Jane.
Yeah.
Literally the same exact mash bill.
Yep.
Except finished or produced or batched in 2 different parts of the country, doing 2 different processes.
Very different whiskeys.
Yeah, very different whiskeys, right?
Still baseline similar notes, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people have been asking us, you guys always talk about MGP or sourcing, so hopefully this kind of puts some of that to rest. 60% of what you guys are drinking are probably from Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
Check the bottle. If it says Lawrenceburg, it's MGP. If it doesn't say who distilled it, there's a chance it's MGP.
And if it says Indiana, yeah. Or if it doesn't say, if it doesn't say who distilled it, it's probably, I would say 60% of the time it's MGP. If it says
Barton or something like that.
Barton,
Yeah.
Bardstown Bourbon Company, Heaven Hill does a lot of sourcing, but they don't allow their name. And they never give out, they never like those rights. Actually, Widow Jane originally started sourcing from
Interesting.
Heaven Hill and then started sourcing from
MGP.
MGP. Oh, and if it says Nashville, it's probably Dackel. Or Tennessee. Dackel.
There's a
I
couple other
wonder
big
if
ones,
Jack does any sourcing.
I think they do, but I don't know that for sure. I feel like I've heard that.
Yeah. Anyway, that was fun, guys. We have some really cool things coming up. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us the last couple weeks, too. We've had some awesome fucking episodes the last couple episodes. Besides the Japanese whiskey episode that just came out, we had Lindsay from Barrelcraft Spirits, which is awesome. What are you laughing at?
Did you think that was a bad episode, the Japanese one?
No,
You said besides. That's yeah.
I don't think the Japanese episode was bad.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, you said good episodes. Besides,
No. Like I'm saying, in conjunction with the Japanese, we had Lindsay on here from Barrelcraft Spirits. We had Raj for a few episodes from Drink Masters on Netflix. Next week, we're having a really good friend of ours that we've made through this journey joining us to make some cocktails. The gentleman,
Raconteur.
yeah, our good friend Adam Vanderswag. Adam, you're going to teach me how to pronounce your actual name. He's going to be joining us making some Christmas cocktails. We're going to have some pours of some Midwinter's Night Dram together to kind of kick off the full Christmas spirit leading into Christmas Eve for all of you. And then I think we have some gifts to give out too, are we doing a little
We got
white
some
rabbit?
gifts. We're gonna do like a brown bag episode. We got a cock doc episode that's gotta be coming out soon.
We just got to find Strega, so we can't do that episode.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, go find it. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I've seen it.
Go find it yourself.
Yeah, go find it yourself.
Just saying.
Yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, and then just keep following along on Instagram, guys. The whole month, we want to give you whiskey, so that's what we're gonna be doing. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a little thumbs up. Drop a comment. We are open books and we are open for critiques. We're figuring some stuff out on here, and we want to get better. We're in it for the long haul. We're not going anywhere. So if there's something we're doing well that you like, or if there's something we're doing well that you don't like, if there's something we're not doing well, if there's something we're doing, just let us know, and we'd love to hear some ideas. Maybe you have some things that you would want on the show too. You can comment that stuff, DM it to us, email us at contact@stinkerDrinkerThinker.com.
We'll give you whiskey.
Matt will give you whiskey.
I'll give you whiskey.
Yeah, we just want some feedback and see what we could do better here, guys. But appreciate you all. Troy,
Yeah.
the body of Uglati,
Yeah.
lead us out.
Yodelay!